YouTube. It's been what, three years? Yeah, it's been a while. Good to see you again. Trying out a new setup, new hairstyle, new look, new woman. I have a toddler now, in case you didn't know. That's why I was away for so long. I was pregnant and I had a baby, so I wanted to just jump right back into it now that I'm ready, now that I've had a break. And I want to kick things off with a bang here. I'm sharing all of my favorite optical illusion hacks that you can incorporate into everyday makeup that people aren't going to detect when they walk right up to you. They're not going to be super obvious. They're going to not just trick the camera's eye, but they're going to trick the eye of people that you're actually interacting with in real life. So you can pull this entire look off for your everyday look, should you choose to. I'm not going to cover my full skincare routine in this video, but I did want to point out that I went in with a slippery vitamin C serum to serve as my base for facial massage. Gua sha massage is fantastic for removing fluid from the face, but it can also be used to lift sagging muscle, which in turn lifts sagging skin for more of a snatched look. I've been using this for months. It is my favorite lip product. This is Forget the Filler by Lawless, and it makes your lips look so full. Plucking a few stray hairs and going in with some sunscreen, rubbing that in, and then a CC serum. This one will give me a little bit of color and uniformity to my skin. Don't forget the neck and chest area and your eyelids. I like to buff it in for more of a seamless, untextured finish. And going in with a little bit of concealer, strategically placing it over areas of more discoloration around my eyes, my jawline, my nostrils, and my forehead. Then I'm going to gently buff it in. This first concealer is pretty close to my natural shade, but the second one I'm going in with is actually the first step in creating the optical illusion of more depth to your face. I'm using it at either side of my chin because I have a very sharp chin and then it dips in. So I'm using the lighter shade to lift certain areas out, make them protrude a bit farther, at least to the eye. And then I'm setting it with a translucent setting powder because my skin is pretty oily. Using a clean spoolie, I'm just getting any product out of my eyebrows for this next step, which is my favorite product that I've discovered this year. This is the Patrick Ta eyebrow gel, and it really creates this laminated brow effect, and your hairs stay put like nothing else I have tried on the market. So it is a little finicky. Your brows need to be completely clean and free of other products. Otherwise, the gel can take on a little bit of a tinted look to it. I cannot recommend this product enough. It's been getting so much use, and let me show you. I have a super quick hack for applying your cheek and bronzer all in one go. It's like magic. Let me show you. Okay. You see this brush? I know it's dirty. All right. So you want to, there's a trick to this. Bronzer goes on the narrow side, the smaller side. Blush goes on the longer, fluffier side. So just tap it in gently. Watch this. You want the small curve to hit right where your tragus is. So your tragus is this small part of the ear right here that pokes out. Pop the small end of the curve against your tragus and gently sweep down. You see that? And then I usually tap it in just to kind of buff it a little bit. Now you can repeat that step a few times. I always start with a light layer first and then build up. Another thing, when you're doing this trick, you want to work from the tragus point of your ear kind of to a point that's in between the corner of your mouth and your nostril. So this is going to depend on your bone structure and how high your cheekbones are. I have low set cheekbones. So because my cheekbones are more low set, they're not higher, closer to my eyes, I angle that line between the tragus and right in between my nostril and my lip line, a little bit over the bridge of the nose. You might need to play around with the shape of your eyebrow a bit. For this particular look, you're going for an arched tail. So a darker arch tail with a bit of light fluffiness at the front here. So you can see how I've pretty much only used brow gel in the very center. I've used a medium, like natural brown color in the middle, and then towards the end I've gone in with that darker chocolate Bordeaux sort of brown towards the tail, and I've gently extended my natural brow. If you have sparse brows, obviously you're going to need to switch this up a little bit and probably use, you know, a light color right here in the center. But the goal is arched, nice and clean and sharp on the underside of the brow, and darker towards the end of the brow. In fact, I can see that I'm already getting a little shiny, so going in with some more Kosas. Another tip I have for you is if you ever go in too heavy-handed with your blush, bronzer, anything like that, you can always go over it with a setting powder, especially one that has a little bit of color to it, and just tap over the area where you put too much product, and it will help dim it down a bit. Let me just adjust my setup here because the eye portion of this is important, and I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing very well. Grab an eyeliner that's similar in shade to your natural brow color and line your eye from your pupil to the outer corner of your eye, making it slightly thicker towards the edge. And with a liner brush, make a small dot somewhere in between the corner of your eye and the end of your eyebrow tail. You're going to draw a line not quite at the end of your eye, halfway between your pupil and the end of your eye, up to the dot you created, and then go in and draw a second line from the end of your eye up to the dot. You're almost creating like a shadow, if you will, making your eyelashes appear thicker and more dramatic towards the outer edge. If you have oily eyelids, you're going to want to go in with a powder eyeshadow on top just to keep all of that line work in place. You can already see on my eyelids it's starting to smudge, so I'm just going in with a really matte eyeshadow powder to lay down over top. Use that same liner brush to draw very thin lines in your inner corners, and then grab either a brown eyeshadow or your bronzer and just tap it in over top of your eyeliner. The idea here is to create a slightly smudged look without completely compromising the line work that you just did. It's meant to soften it up a bit without totally blurring the eyeliner. Now I'm just using a little bit of black eyeshadow here to deepen the area near the lash line. You can skip this step if you feel like you've already achieved enough of a sultry look. I like to deepen it just a little more near the lash line. These are just really subtle optical illusions that you can use. And I'm going to put just a tiny bit here, and I'm going to pull it out very subtly. Do you see that? Now this is going to create another lash line optical illusion of longer lashes, because if you think about, this is the Marilyn Monroe eyelash hack. If you think about how shadows would be cast down on your face if you had particularly long upper eyelashes, they would be creating a little bit of like a shadow effect just on your kind of like lower eyelid area. And this should be very subtle. You don't want it to be too obvious, because if people are, you know, looking at you really close up, you don't want it to be obvious that you have a little bit of eyeshadow on your lower lash line. You need to touch up, you can go in with your powder again. For me, I do tend to get a little bit of creasing. I'm really happy I found this product, which is also by Cheekbone Beauty. They did the blush and bronzer duo that I showed you earlier, but this is a pencil cream liner. I think it's actually meant to be an eyeshadow, but I use it as a highlighter, and you can see when you go with the cream for highlight, it just looks like your face is naturally lifted in these areas. I hope you're paying attention, because this is the best hack I'm going to show you in this video. This is such an underrated juicy lip hack. Look how fat my lip looks. I love this hack. Do just a little bit on the underside of my nose just to lift it a bit. If you really want to, you can of course do a little bit of contouring. I don't usually do this in my day-to-day makeup, but if I know I'm going to be on camera having lots of photos taken, I might do this. Usually for day-to-day though, I tend to skip any sort of contouring. Going into the lower lash line just beneath where you deposited that little bit of dark brown or black eyeshadow and blending it out. Do you see how convincing that is? Especially if you're looking at someone straight on. This mascara hack is life-changing. Okay, this is something I figured out by accident, but if you apply mascara to the upper level, like so the top that's kind of like a facing your eyelids, if you apply that there and then sweep from the bottom up, you've kind of sandwiched your eyelashes in this chokehold of mascara, and I find that it really helps keep my eyelashes together. I have two different sets of eyelashes. The ones on top are straight, the ones on the bottom are more curved. If I were to apply mascara only to the lower lashes, like going from the bottom up, how you would normally traditionally apply mascara, it doesn't really coat or catch the upper lashes. And I'm just looking at this brush because it's got two different sets of bristles. Can you see that? That's why I really like this Ilia mascara. So I brush the product through with this, and then I use the flat brush to do precision work, I guess you could say. Making sure there's no clumps, holding the lashes in place just at the end. Another mascara hack, if you hold your lashes in place a little bit while they dry, they are much more likely to stay in that position, because I find that curling just isn't enough. It won't hold my lashes in place because once I put mascara on, mascara is wet, so it's almost like it undoes that heat treatment that you've done to your lashes. So just using the flat end of this mascara wand, it's not flat, but the straight bristle end, to hold those lashes up, just the tips of them, right? You don't need to do this from the base. It should be effective to just hold the ends of your lashes. It's a little time consuming, but I find that the end result is that the curl holds so much longer. Okay, so hopefully you can see that it's already starting to make a noticeable difference in how lifted and long my eyelashes appear, simply by making sure the upper lashes are sticking to the bottom ones and that I've lifted the tips of them up. Now I'm just repeating that same series of steps on this side. So I'm starting with an application, moving from my lash line, the top of my lash line, and going down and out. So kind of the opposite of how you would normally apply mascara. It's on the top of your lashes instead of the underside. And then immediately going in before it has a chance to dry, and brushing from the underside of the lashes up so that those lashes get sandwiched together. And that really creates a more pleasing shape, at least with my eyelashes. And once I've coated my lashes, I'll go back in with that straight edge comb, and I'll go in and I'll grab from the middle, brush through to the ends of the lashes, and hold in place. You can fan if you think that'll get them dry faster. Okay, now we're really starting to come together. You can see all the various subtle optical illusions that I've used on my eyes, around my lips, the gua sha contouring. I've done the lifted cheek product placement. It's all coming together to give me a more snatched, sultry look. I think you could pick just about any lip shade and it would look nice with this look. I was really tempted to do a red glossy lip, but ultimately I wanted to do something that was more everyday, easy wearing, so I went in with this one, which has long staying power from Urban Decay. You'll notice that I've done some strategic overlining, focusing on the center near my Cupid's bow. I've overlined just over the two lip peaks, and I've overlined my entire lower lip. Now, you should adjust this to what look that you're going after, what your own anatomy is like, but for me, in this particular look, I like a fat lower lip with a moderate upper lip. Now, the bright lights are really diffusing the sharpness of this. Does that help at all? Hopefully now you can see the shape of it a bit better. So, overlined my entire lower lip, and that combined with the contour that I've put under my lip create this really convincing optical illusion that I have a really juicy fat lower lip, when in reality I don't really. If my bangs weren't so insanely long right now, I think I'd be able to show off the eye look with the bang a bit more, which I think is part of how you pull off this kind of femme fatale, deep, mysterious look. But I don't think you need bangs to pull this look off. But if you can rock them, they do help draw attention to the eye, which is really what the focus of this look is. It's a mysterious eye, a pouty lip. I think you can play around with the colors here quite a bit. I tend to go for browns and nudes. A brown eye look with a red lip would look perfect. For every day, I tend to go more nude, but you could easily do a matte red, a glossy red. You could do a black eyeliner look. You could use a shade that's closely matched to your hair color. So if you're more of like a redhead, an auburn shade, you know, you could go in with an eyeliner that's in this similar shade as your hair. You can even use your eyebrow pencil for it. So the key, I think, to pulling off any look and making it feel wearable is to not make it too contrasted with your natural features. I would say use your natural features as your color palette and pull your inspiration from there. I mean, that's just the technique that I use to make things feel wearable and natural. A femme fatale always smells amazing, so don't forget your signature perfume scent at the end of this. So that's it for me for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something, that it was helpful. Let me know what your preferences were as far as filming goes. Do you prefer the straight on shots? Do you prefer the 3/4? Just tell me how you're feeling, how you doing. It's been a minute. I would love to hear from you if you're an old subscriber. And if you're new here, welcome.